Call the meeting to order.
Yeah.
Okay. And then pursuant to State Executive Order 2020-07 and 2020-18, which temporarily suspend the in-person presence requirements and eliminate the limitation on remote access of the Illinois Open Meetings Act. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the board is not requiring physical attendance at this meeting and will allow all board members to attend this meeting remotely and fully participate remotely. Okay. So first thing is approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any changes they want to make?
Nope.
I will entertain a motion to accept.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay, and so Samantha,
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Kate.
Yes.
All right. We're done with that. Okay, everybody had a chance to look over the minutes. Any additions, corrections, or deletions?
I think they're awesome. Like, reminded me of all the things we talked about last time.
Yeah, really. Same here. I'm like, oh yeah, we did talk about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will entertain a motion to accept as presented.
I'll move.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Samantha,
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Kate.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. On to public comments. Oh wait, do we have minutes from the April 1st meeting as well?
That was the April 1st.
That was the April 1st. Okay, sorry about that. Are there any public comments, Rick?
None.
Written or otherwise? Okay.
None.
Okay, none of that. So down to 6 under new business, the personnel update.
Yeah, not a whole lot to add. We've had a rough time COVID wise lately. Only one positive case, but we had a lot of people with exposure or symptoms and people quarantined. So we've been a little shorthanded. And I do want to mention that our can't call her social worker, our community resource coordinator, who's paid for by the Macon County Mental Health Board. She and Alex Frazier, a librarian, put together a proposal to do a presentation on social work in libraries at the Illinois Library Association conference this year, and it was accepted. So,
Great.
2 months in the building, and she's already got a presentation at ILA.
I bet a lot of people are jealous that we have that. Like a lot of libraries are jealous that we have that.
All right. Is there any other that we have to talk about, Rick?
No, it's in that. No, there's no new hires, anything like that. So,
All right. Okay, let's go to old business, starting with the sexual harassment and retaliation policy.
so that it's actually, I'd like to take both those items at once. The first two items on old business. Council
Okay.
advises us. We have two policies now. Council advises us to make those two policies null and void, and to adopt the policy that I sent in the packet that combines those, puts them more in line with what it checks off all the legal boxes, and also puts them in line with what the city is currently doing also.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we don't need to, we're going to vote on the other thing, but do we need to vote on these to like get rid of them?
You could probably do it in one motion to
Right.
make all prior policies null and void, and to adopt this one if you guys are okay with it. And then
Oh, we
All
need-
policies or just these two policies?
those first
We
two.
Okay.
We just need to recommend it to the full board. So
Correct.
Okay, so we're going to recommend to the full board that the sexual harassment and retaliation policy and the workplace discrimination, harassment, violence, and retaliation policy be declared null and void, or be eliminated.
And to adopt the new workplace discrimination, harassment, violence, and retaliation policy.
it's very
Okay,
wordy.
well, there you go. Okay, do we need to make that motion, or we're just going to make a motion to recommend this to the board?
So I will recommend that we accept this new policy and send it to the full board.
Okay, there's the motion. We need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, Susan?
So
Oh.
do we, but should we move to eliminate
We're
first?
gonna remove it, we're eliminating and adding to,
Okay,
we're making
At
the
the same
recommendation to the
motion.
board.
Correct.
Yeah. All in the
Okay.
same motion.
all right.
Okay. Susan?
Thank you for
Yes.
clarifying.
Susan says yes, yes. Samantha,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
and Carl.
Yes.
All right, Carl, thank you. Okay, so now that's done. We're done with that. So the diversity, equity, and inclusion is next, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Rick?
So Robert and Carl and I was
Oh,
only
I'm
on
sorry. Okay,
for maybe 10 minutes, but we have some diversity consultants that we're reaching out to ask for more information. We have a list of, was it 8?
6, I think.
6? Okay.
Yep.
So we're looking at requesting proposals from each of those
Information.
record. Yeah.
Yeah, information.
Yeah. Just so Carl, do you have anything to add?
As I can unmute. No, not necessarily. We just wanted to get moving on the situation. We kind of had a bit of a setback there timeline wise. I think last month we set a hard deadline, a hard timeline, I should say, so to speak, for where we wanted to be, and we had a bit of a setback so far, but we're pushing forward. So
okay. Is that all we have, Samantha?
Yeah, I think so. Right.
Robert, if you want to add something to it.
I'm sorry, I don't see Robert, and I'm sorry, Robert, if I'm ignoring you. I don't
You
mean
should
to.
change it to gallery view. You can see everybody.
Yeah, I think I've got the wrong. There you are. Okay.
Yeah, there I am. Not really. Samantha, she covered. It was a
Okay.
short meeting, so.
We gotta like those short
I
meetings,
feel
right?
bad because I was only on it for like, I don't know, 5 minutes before I had to go.
But I've had communication from other members since then, so.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Okay. All right, the meeting room policy.
Yeah, so I reached out to some other libraries in the area to see what they do about letting individuals or pairs use their meeting rooms rather than organizations. So far, I've only heard back from one, so which is weird, and I'm going to reach out to him again. But the Argenta-Oriana Library Director, Donna Shaw, said, to her knowledge, they did do it once. They made an exception, but it's not something they do on a regular basis. So I will, hopefully I'll hear from the other ladies. But I also want us to be prepared to think about for next time. I don't know that until you guys get more information, you'll be able to take action. But one provision of the policy is that you can use the meeting room 12 times a year. That's it. So in practice, that's not what happens. And that's something that it's just gone by me. We've got, for instance, not right now, but when we were renting the rooms, Staff Quick rents the room, the boardroom every Friday. Kono, I believe, don't they, Robert? You do it like twice a month or something. We've had a handful of organizations that use the room more than 12 times a month. So I guess my question is going to be, and there's good reasons for putting a limitation on it. You know, we're not here to just to provide an office space for one organization, but I guess I just need to know if that's what is the intent of the policy, then I need to begin to enforce it. Now, some of those are revenue generating uses. Staff Quick pays us to use the boardroom every Friday. So I just wanted us to talk that through and see if that's what we want to continue to do.
Okay.
Well,
Or
I
you
think
can-
that's pretty limiting, especially if you've got someone that meets once a month and they may have a quick, subcommittee meeting or something like that, I don't know. Anyway, but there probably should be a limit. So I don't know if we want to state you know, 20 times, or I don't know if we want to do that, but
Yeah, but if it's I mean, at least for that example, if it's every Friday, then staff
Mhm.
night or whatever, then that's, every
and they're
week.
paying for it. So it's not like, yeah.
Yeah, and there's not, Robertson's things code went down to once a month, but, and there's not any demand for that room particularly. I guess, I mean, I could try to see if I could come up with some language that would, like at my last library, and I think this library used to do it too before I got here, but, you had, you could be on the computers for 5 hours unless somebody came up and wanted, and you had a minimum of 2 hours. You got a 2 hours guaranteed, but you could be on as much as 5 hours.
Mhm.
So unless somebody came in and said, I need to use a computer, then the first one who got on had to go off. I mean, maybe I can come up with some kind of language that would set it up that way.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I mean, if it isn't being used, and I would think we'd want to be using it if it's not being used. But yeah, there's a sense of fairness that needs to be in place as well.
Right. You want to be fair, but then again, there's no sense in saying, yeah, nobody's been in this room. Everybody used it 12 times in the first 6 months, and you
Mhm.
can't use it because you already did it 12 times.
Right.
And it's gonna stay empty.
I can't imagine they would want to come back either. Like after that.
Yeah. So I'll try to come up with some kind of language, and there's no reason to take any action on that until I have more information from the neighboring libraries about individuals, and also I'll come up with some language to see if we can put some more flexibility.
Okay.
Okay. Next is the software use policy.
Yeah, so I just found out, I don't know, about a month ago that we had a software use policy, something everybody's supposed to sign off on. I never had to sign off on it. It's kind of been generally in disuse. The software use policy that we had was written in, I want to say 2002. There might have been an update about 10 years later, but it was many pages long. It tried to sort of, I'm sure this made sense at the time. It just doesn't make sense anymore. There was an attempt to sort of say, here's a list of software that's okay. Here's a list of software that's not okay. And that landscape changes so quickly. And there's talk about floppy disks and things like that. So I worked with Matt Wilkerson, and we went round and round about this. And we thought, what do we really need? And what we really need is to say that, if you're gonna load some software onto our machine, a Decatur Public Library machine, he has to okay it, and he has to know what's on there, and he has to be able to audit it and things like that. And we think that this addresses what we need to address. And I just wanted you guys to take a look at it and see if you agree. See if there's anything we may have left out.
Not a big software. I mean, I'm not a big computer guy, so.
And I'm not
There's
so
not-
but
Go
I
ahead.
think we need something, and we need to, we do need people to sign off on it on a regular basis and say, hey, and I've done it. I've downloaded the Spotify app onto my machine, and it actually does kind of drive my neighbor Matt in the next office a little bit nuts when you do that stuff. But he's got to take care of these machines. He's got to manage them. He needs to know what we're putting on them.
Yeah. I
I agree with that.
I agree.
Definitely.
And if you guys think that this will, I'm all for it. If you think it will help with reducing any software that could be downloaded. And
You're talking about the public downloading stuff onto the computer?
really,
Staff, oh.
Yeah,
Well,
there's,
isn't there something to stop that? Isn't there some kind of program that that we would put on there and then they would have to ask before they actually put it on?
I don't know the answer to that.
He can set up sort of permissions, but for downloading, but it would just make us so slow throughout the building.
Okay,
I mean, we would just, to a crawl. And part of it, is that sometimes people, they fall for the clickbait, and next thing you know, he's dealing with a virus or
Right.
something like that. So, or just you wonder why their computers moving so slow because then downloaded something they shouldn't have downloaded. So
sometimes, a lot of times it has to do with coupons. I'm just saying.
that's good to know for personal.
I think
Okay.
if this is okay with him, if he wrote this, then, I think
It
it's
would
I
fine.
agree.
down from about 10 pages. So,
No.
nobody's going
And I think
That's
this
the
is
other thing.
clear.
Put it on, say sign off on, they're just going to go, fine, that's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is clear enough and
They know
simple.
what, they know what's expected. If you're gonna download something, you got to get Matt's blessing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay, I like that,
okay.
since he's in charge of it.
So it will be policy. So
I'll move to recommend this to the full board.
I'll second.
Okay, Susan,
Yes.
Samantha,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
and Carl.
Yes.
Okie dokie, motion passes. Okay, the next thing is the bylaws. Everybody got a copy of that?
yeah, I just want to. I hope this gets at the changes you guys asked me to make last month.
That was,
I did it like the next day. So
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I sent it to Kate a little bit in advance for her to look.
I think it looks good too. That covers everything we talked about. So
And the only comment that you had, the PPPR chair, I would say that would be fine language for that particular.
all right.
So
If Kate says it's good, Samantha, not disregarding your opinion, but
it's okay.
if our legal unofficial legal eagle says it's okay, I'm on board.
Yep.
Okay,
It's very
So-
usable and easy to understand.
right.
Yeah. I do like it a lot better. I think it's way better.
So we're going to recommend this to the full board as well. Correct? Okay, I'm going to need to entertain that motion.
I'll make the motion. to
Second.
recommend.
Okay. Susan,
Yes.
Carl, Carl,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Samantha,
Yes.
Kate.
Yes.
All right, the ayes have it. Motion passed.
So that does mean that starting probably next month, we'll probably have, well, maybe July, we'll have somebody start going to the Friends meetings. So just keep that in mind.
Do you have any, well, there's a little other discussion if you want to discuss that real quick.
Well, I mean, that's just part of the bylaws. So,
Right.
So we'll just have, someone
We're gonna
attend.
do rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, well,
rock, paper,
I'll set up a schedule. I'll go to the first one, okay? And then
Okay,
I'll set up a schedule. And then if conflicts arise, just let me know and I'll see if I can find an alternate.
When do they usually
August.
meet?
The second Thursday.
Okay.
So it's just
Yeah.
that's why it's so hard to find someone who wants to give up all of their Thursdays.
Thursday. Yeah.
Correct.
Um,
If you're on this committee, if you're on the finance committee, it's kind of worse because it's Wednesday, Thursday. Because the finance meeting's on Wednesday and the next day is Thursday. So,
Okay.
but that was me.
Well, we're thankful that you'll be the first one to go.
Yeah.
Well,
I haven't been in a while, so.
I know this probably doesn't just pertain to this, but since we've got a little other right here, we've gone through this pretty quickly. I know I wasn't at the last PPR meeting, but is there going to be a point in time where we're going to meet in person, or we're going to keep it in Zoom, or have we talked about that?
I think that is something that we need to begin to discuss. We're dipping our toe in and just kind of considering things on a case-by-case basis to some on-site programming, really small. So Real Talk on Race is meeting tonight. We limited it to 8 in person, so 8 people will be in attendance. And then they'll have the smart board set up so everybody else can zoom in. Next Thursday, the division heads are going to meet in the boardroom, sitting around the table without masks, because all of us will be fully vaccinated at that time. I think it's important that we begin to do what we're able to safely do and to show that it can be done. And as long as we're doing it, safely and following protocols. So we're looking at yoga coming back, because we've got capacity in the Madden at 31, as long as everybody's socially distanced, and they never break 20, and they can set those yoga mats 6 feet apart from each other really easily. So we're dipping our toe in and we're taking things one at a time. But I think it's up to you guys when you want to begin to do that. There is certainly plenty of room to do it for the full board in the Madden, and for the committees, most of the time, the committees we could do in the Staley. I
just think at the next meeting, we should probably address it. It should be on the agenda.
Yeah.
The other thing is, do you have, for these people that are doing yoga and do you have some kind of waiver that they sign?
No,
like a COVID waiver?
I can, council had told me quite a while ago, and Kate can weigh in on this, but his take was if we're taking reasonable precautions, it would be tough for anybody to be held accountable for anybody else getting COVID in this atmosphere. That was, as long as we're following, following protocols, and but if you guys think we should do a waiver, we can get one drawn up.
I feel like as long as we're following like state COVID protocols, it's probably not necessary.
I mean, the health department told us we could have, here's their response. So you can just have, as long as you don't exceed 50, and like, what if the room's 100 square feet? I mean, they didn't offer us a whole lot of guidance. They just said, oh yeah, they're fine as long as as long as it's 50, and it doesn't exceed 50. So, I mean, and they're the other group that I've been allowing to meet at the library for a while now. I figure if anybody's going to follow the rules, it's the health department. They've had a few meetings now in the Madden.
Okay, it's just a question. We had it in real estate for a while. We don't sign it any longer, but I didn't know, since people are just coming back, if Kate says it, and I'm good with it.
And I wanted to add as a FYI, I found today on the 26th, of this month, I'll be having shoulder surgery. I will be out of the office a minimum of 1 week, perhaps longer, and I'll be one-armed a minimum of 6 weeks, perhaps longer. So I'm not sure how that's going to affect. He said I should be able to keyboard, maybe even in week 2.
Your shoulder?
Yep.
You got labrum, or you got rotator cuff, or what?
Rotator cuff, bone spurs. Yep.
Bad.
Oh, to be 20 again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't throw the breaking ball anymore, is what I'm told.
No more 80 mile an hour pitches or 90.
Just a change up, nothing but change ups.
All right.
So what day is that, May?
May 26th. So it may be that the next PPR meeting, I'll definitely be out, not be able to attend. So up to you guys what you want to do about that.
Okay.
I think it overlaps with that. Well, it might be my first day back, so I'll just keep you posted as we get closer to it, or
Okay.
Let's just keep us posted on that.
I mean, I don't know what other policy, I mean, if you want to send me the policy or send us, Michael and I, the policies that we still need to go over. I mean, maybe it's a month that we can look at not having a meeting. So just depends on what's on the docket.
Just
All
keep
right.
us,
I'll get something to the two of you within the next week or so.
okay. Sounds good. Is there anything else for the good of the order, or are we pretty much done here?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. All right. Kate,
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Samantha,
Yes.
Carl, I know you want to stay, but we need to get,
All right.
all right, guys.
All right.
That might be a
One
record.
question,